No problem.
There we
Thank
go.
you.
Cool. Yeah, so for setup, let's go ahead and just get this installed. So one way I could check to see if I have Git installed is I could do a git -v or -version -version. I have it installed, but if you don't, then we can run brew install git. Slack these out. So this might take a second if you need to, if it's going to update Homebrew. Just throw this out there. Cool. So I already have this installed. So just said, hey, don't need to install this. Now, let's also go ahead and do this as well. And if you are, so I think Tyler, if you have a GitHub account, I would say just stick with the GitHub account you have. But if you don't, let's go to GitHub. And actually, I'll do this in incognito window so I don't automatically get logged in. So there are two different things we are installing. There's Git and GitHub. So Git is going to be, it's a tool for your computer. It's like on your machine. GitHub is the thing on the cloud. So there's two, I'm going to be using the terms Git and GitHub. They are two different things, but they work together. So go ahead on this GitHub and go ahead and click sign up. They have a kind of a weird sign up, but go ahead and enter your email. Create a password. Where's my awesome password? I guess it doesn't like that password. And then pick a username. Now pick something appropriate for your username because GitHub's actually kind of going to be like a resume type of thing for you because my employers might ask for your GitHub. You know, because they want to look. It's a way they're going to be able to look at your code. So pick a name. I don't know why I said Toto Dog, but that's anyway. Cool. And then it's going to ask you to like verify your email. So you're going to have to go, this is a fake email, so I'm not going to verify that. But you'll have to go to your email and just enter that 6-digit code that they give you. Cool. So I kind of want to wait until everyone has signed up. So I'll give you a couple minutes for, wait a second for that. And if you're running into any issues, feel free just to shout out your questions.
It says my account has been flagged for some reason. I remember making this a while ago, so maybe it's just because I was inactive on it, but it's telling me to contact GitHub support. So I'm just in the middle of doing that right now.
Okay, do you have much on there or?
No, I don't think I used it at all. I can't remember. I think I was like using Code Academy and it referenced GitHub to make a GitHub account, and I did, and I think that was like a year ago or so.
Okay,
Maybe.
well, if you want, you can just, because they're probably not going to get back to you,
Right.
anytime soon. So you could just go ahead, if you want, you can just follow along. I mean, I will record this so you can do it later, or you could create a new GitHub.
Yeah, it just says that it's hidden from public. That's really all. Like, I still think I can do everything. It says start a project.
Oh, so you can log in.
Yeah, I can log in. It's
Oh,
just
sweet.
I don't know why.
That's the big part. So as long as you can log in, and I'm sure if you can log in, you can probably push stuff up. So I think you're probably good. Cool. Anyone else? Are we good to continue? Sweet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to this upper right part where my icon is, and I'm going to go to settings. And then from here, I'm going to go to SSH and GPG keys. And then once you're here, we're going to go to new SSH key. So just do that again. I went to my upper right icon. I went down to settings. And then on the left menu, I selected SSH and GPG keys. And then on the right, new SSH key. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a key on your computer. And then we're going to take that key and then post it up to GitHub. So whenever we do any authentication stuff, we don't have to type in our username and password. So this key is going to live on your computer. So if I went back, like the computer I have is like it's the Mac that was given to me by DPL. So that's why I call this DPL Mac. You know, if you might want to call yours like, James Laptop or whatever your name is. It doesn't really matter. Just give it a name that makes sense to you, that describes your computer. Okay, so now we actually need to get the SSH key, because we don't have that right now. That's what we need to add here. So to do that, we need to go back to our terminal. And I'll throw these commands out in Slack. Now, I'm probably pretty sure that no one, so I'm going to throw this one out here. That's not pasted. 1 second. I'm pretty sure no one's going to have a key generated already, but let's just double check. So if you're on this command, this find /SSH, if you have this key, this will come up. So I have a key, so it's coming up. If you don't, there's going to be nothing. So I imagine for all of you, it's nothing, right? Or does someone have one? Kat, do you have one?
Yeah, I think so, if I'm looking at the right thing.
It says like user, then your name, then dot.
Oh, wait, my bad. No, I don't. I'm sorry.
Okay. That's fine. So let's go ahead and generate one.
I've got one.
If you have one,
I mean, mine looks just like yours.
cool. If you have that, then you don't need to run this next command that I'm going to throw out in Slack. So you can.
I do too. Sorry.
Yeah, if you have this, then you don't. So I threw out another command. You don't need to run this because you already have it. But so I threw out this command, but before you run it, go ahead and put in your email. And then go ahead and hit enter. Now it's going to ask you some questions, but just go ahead and you don't need to answer them. Just hit enter until you go all the way through. And then you'll see some weird like text, art stuff, and then you're done. Cool.
It says enter file in which to save the key. You just hit enter, or
Yeah, yeah, just if you hit enter, it'll just automatically fill in the values for you. So you don't need to enter any values. Just
Cool.
leave those all blank. All right. And then I'm going to throw out one more command in Slack once you're done with that. And what this command is going to do is this command is going to go into this file and it's going to copy the contents. So it's like opening up this file in a text editor and selecting all of it and doing like Command C. But we're going to do that with a terminal command. I don't want that. So now that's like copied this into my, I'm forgetting what it's called, but now this is copied. And then, just need to change this really quick. I don't want to like show my key inside of here. Just going to change this up a little. And then once you have that, you should be able to come into GitHub and then do a Command V and paste that inside of there. And it's going to look something like this. And then you can just click add SSH key. Click add. It might ask you for your password, which, oh man, I don't know. I think it's working. So go ahead, fill in your password. I kind of changed up my key, so that's not a valid key. So, but then you should, when you come back in here, you should now see that you have a key. And that is that for Git and GitHub setup.
The reason yours shows as green is because it has been used recently.
I believe so. Is any other questions here? Kind of want to stop here and allow you for all of us to get here. Are we good? No issues? Cool. Okay, so now let's just do one other like small setup step just to kind of get some config stuff. This isn't like 100% necessary, but let's just do it. So I'm going to throw out some other commands in Slack. Let's go ahead and just, run these one at a time. And for the values that, like your username, go ahead and here, like throw in your full name. and your email, that kind of thing. Go ahead and switch that to your email. I just go ahead and use that, whatever email you're using for GitHub.
I got a command not found.
You might have, so I threw in the dollar signs. You might have copied the dollar sign in there.
Hmm.
So yeah, if I have the dollar sign right here, then I get that the dollar sign's not found. Sorry, one more thing, just so I haven't seen this issue for a while, the DS store thing, but let's go ahead and we're going to open up a file just to ignore this if it does come in. So I'll throw this out in Slack too. So I'm going to run this command, open /git ignore. Let me spell that right, git ignore.
When I put my username in with that command, it just returns like a greater than sign. And it doesn't, it's kind of like stuck there.
You might have forgot like a double quote.
Oh yeah. That's cool.
So I'm gonna
with the open /git ignore, I'm getting does not exist. Oh, is there?
We're missing an I.
that's because I spelled it wrong. Git.
Okay, got it.
Sorry, let me fix that in Slack. But yeah, I have an extra N in there.
Even spelled right, I still get the same thing, does not exist.
Okay.
Yeah, same here actually.
All right, so scratch that. So let's do this. Let's do that's good. Okay. Touch. Let me spell this right. Sorry, git ignore. I am a horrible speller, so luckily you don't have to deal with that. Okay. So let's create it first and then open it. And then I'll throw these out in Slack.
Should we be doing this like in the root or anywhere specific, or does it matter?
It does not matter where you do this. So I already have the git ignore, but yeah, you'll do git ignore, run that. And then create this file. So we're just creating a file called git ignore, and it's a hidden file, so because it has that dot in front of it, and then we're just going to throw some stuff in here. So what's going to happen is when we talk about this later, we'll see this is going to ignore some things globally. So Git's not going to track some of this stuff. And then I'll go ahead and throw in Slack what you should copy and paste inside of there. So open that up, go ahead and throw that, what's in Slack, save this file, and close out of it. And now, I swear that's done. Now we're done with setup.
Our git ignore is not supposed to have anything in it.
So I threw out in Slack that let me show you.
I see at the
Yeah, the
mac.ds store.
Mac store. Throw that inside of there.
Okay. Okay, cool. Thanks.
Okay. So yeah, kind of while you're finishing up that, I can just, or is anyone having any issues? Just chill out for a second. You good? Cool. Okay, so now we can actually go ahead and start talking about Git and GitHub and kind of do a little demo. So yeah, first of all, we're going to be using the term, well, there's kind of these Git and GitHub repositories. So what we're going to do is we're going to create, whenever you are now going to do homework from here on out and projects, what you're going to do is for each project, you're going to create your own Git repository. And even if you're working individually, these are going to be very useful to you, because this is a way to kind of track changes in your files as you're developing. So, I mean, I think we've all had the experience where we're like working with like Microsoft Word or something, and, you know, maybe we want to go back to a version that we were working on like 30 minutes ago. I don't know if you can do that in Microsoft Word. Can you? It's been a while since I've used that, but I've definitely had that experience where I've been like very frustrated because, like, you know, I maybe lost some changes or like wanted to go back to a certain spot. And think about with code, we're going to be working, when you get into Rails, you're going to be working with, you know, large projects that have multiple files, and you'll get your code working, and then maybe you go to work on another feature and you're doing all this work and you totally just screw everything up and you don't know where the bug is and you kind of just want to start over. So GitHub's going to be very useful for that. Like, oh, you can go back to a working state. When you get to like a project that's like you've been working on for months, you might find a bug in your app, and then you might have to go back like weeks to kind of go find where a bug is coming from. So GitHub Git is a really useful tool. I've had bugs that I don't think I would have been able to solve without GitHub and Git. And then yeah, it'd probably be impossible. It'd be so hard to collaborate with other people without GitHub. So, like I said, for this, so for each project, it's going to have like this own repository, this own way of tracking everything that's happening. So there's going to be some general warnings that we want to follow. So first of all, when we are working with Git, I'm going to give you this command. Don't run this, but I'm going to run it. If I want to create a repository, I'm going to run this git init command. I don't know if I have my terminal set up. So like if I'm in a project that has a repository, it gives me some information. So like I know I have a repository in here. Another way I could see I have a repository, a Git repository, is I could do an ls-la, and I see this .git folder. That's my repository. Now, one of the rules that we want to follow is I don't want to make Git repositories in like system directories or directories that are going to hold like other projects that have their own Git repositories. So not accidentally, but I'm kind of breaking this rule because now I have a Git repository, you know, in my DPL fall 2021 folder. This is where I keep all my projects and homework and lectures for this cohort. So I definitely do not want a repo inside of here. It's no problem. I can just get rid of, this is just a folder. So how do I get rid of a folder in terminal? Just rm-rf.git. And then the name. So it's just .git. So I run that and it's no longer a repository. So yeah, you're definitely not going to want to have a, like, if you're in your desktop and, you know, you see that you have like a repository in there, that is definitely, you're not going to want that. So rm-rf.git. Cool. Yeah, and so going forward, each of your homework, they're going to be their own projects, and they're each going to have their own individual repos. So let's go ahead and yeah, just do a little demo. So I have a DPL folder. I have a lot of them actually. I'm going to CD into that. This one looks different. Okay, and then I'm going to CD into week 2. And then I'm going to make a directory. I'm going to call this, let's just call this Git practice. Go on with notes. And then I can CD into that. So like if I print working directory or PWD, I can see like, you know, I'm in this DPL fall 2021 folder in week 2 in this Git practice directory. So this is where, like, and this is going to be its own little entity. So this would be a good place. And since we're doing a Git demo, this would be a good place to do a Git init. So now I have this, now this Git practice folder is a directory. So let's just go ahead and, you know, create a file. Let's just call it main.rb. So something I can do now, so I've created a file, so I could ls. So inside of here, I have the main RB file. But if I do, I can now run some commands. Git status. Git status is a command I can run that's going to like tell me, hey, what's going on with Git. So right now it's saying I have an untracked file, which is essentially I've added a file. And Git doesn't know about it, doesn't really know what to do with it. So I'm going to go ahead and run git add and then the name of the file, main.rb. And then if I do a git status, now I can see this has changed, you know, changes to be committed. We'll get to that in 1 second, but I can now see this is no longer untracked. Now it's ready to be committed. Let's kind of look at what we did with that git ignore file. So let's say I have a file. I'm going to create a file called like passwords.txt.
Hey, James, would you mind just increasing the text a little bit of your terminal?
Oh, sure thing.
Thank you.
Is that better?
Yeah, thanks.
Cool. Okay.
Oh, excuse me, one more quick question. Should we be watching or actually doing this with you?
I think that's kind of up to you, just how you prefer to learn.
Okay.
I think I hope you did. I want you to like get set up. So if you're not set up now, maybe that's something we could do later. But yeah, as far as this, just whatever your preference is to you want to follow along via code, like, or you just want to watch, you can, either one works.
Okay.
Cool. So I just created a passwords.txt. So let's say if I do a get status, now it's wanting to track this. It's saying, hey, you have this passwords.txt file. But maybe I don't want to track this file, because maybe we have a file where we keep passwords and we're not going to want to like push that up to GitHub or something. So what I can do, and this is what we did earlier, is we created a git ignore file. But this git ignores, we created a git ignore that's going to be, I don't want that tilde slash in there. We created a git ignore that's going to be kind of like a global one for all of our practices. This one's just going to be local for this environment, for this repo. So I can go ahead, I'm just going to go ahead and open this up in code now. Let's see our awesome project that we're building. Okay, is that ever going to open? So in my git ignore file, I can go ahead here and I can add files here that I don't want to have tracked. So I can come in here and just throw in the name of the file, password.txt. Save that. Then I go do another get status. Did I spell that wrong? Passwords. And spell that right. Passwords.txt. It needs to match exactly that name of my file. If I run get status now it's ignoring that file. So now it's not tracking it. So cool. Yes, I do a get status. I've added the git ignore. I do want to add this git ignore, so I want that to be part of this. So I can add that file, and then I do a get status. Okay. And now I have two files inside of here. They're added, but they're not ready to be, they're ready to be committed. So let's just show you what a commit is. So I'm going to do a commit. I do a git commit and -m, and then two like quotes to put in a message. Now this message needs to be short. I can't remember exactly, but probably under like 120 characters. Like it should be like a sentence, if at most. But I'm just going to describe what I did. So I added files, or I could say something like, this is like my initial commit, because this is my first commit. So that can also be like a common first commit message. Cool. And now I do a get status. And now it says this, I'm on branch master, nothing to commit, working tree clean. So what this is telling me is like GitHub has got all the changes and it's saved them. So this is not the same as saving in VS Code or like text editor. This is a different kind of saving. It's kind of saving like a snapshot of your code at a particular time. And yeah, let's just, any questions? I think we kind of have to go through a couple of these flows and then it kind of starts to sink in what we're actually trying to do with this. Okay.
So you would have to do a git commit every time you want that snapshot to be able to refer back to it.
Exactly. Yeah.
What did you put in your git ignore file?
In my git ignore, I put this the name of the file that I wanted to ignore, which was passwords.txt.
Awesome.
Every time I run a git status, it returns with an error that says fatal, not a git repository or any of the parent directories .git.
Okay, so what that's telling you is so are you in the git practice folder?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So if you get that error, that means you do not have a repository. So you need to run that git init command.
Okay.
And this is one you just need to run once. And actually, once we start working with like Rails and React and we create projects, they actually just by default give you a git repo.
Okay, yeah, I just ran that and now it's running correctly now.
Cool.
Thank you.
So let's just kind of go through, some examples and kind of just see how we could maybe use this. And just kind of look at this. So let's say I have this main.rb and I don't know, let's just say I'm making an add function. I have this simple, I want to do a build calculator. So I have a couple functions I want to build, like add, minus, subtract, and times, or multiply. Now let's just say for argument's sake, that these are kind of bigger features. This add is probably going to take me a couple hours. This minus is probably going to take me a couple hours. I mean, it's going to take us a minute, but let's just pretend it's going to take a while. Okay. So, because I kind of want to show the git flow. So what I'm going to do as when I'm working with git, I come in and I go ahead and I do my add function. So I have my add. No, this takes num1, num2, and then I just return num1 plus num2. And let's just pretend this was a lot of work. I've kind of done a little bit of, maybe I've done a little test. So puts num1 plus num2. I come down here. Oh, wait, what am I doing? That's not how this function works. So come down here, puts, add 1 and 1. So now I'm going to do a git status. Now this is telling me I've modified main.rb. Now I'm a big fan of the terminal and getting good at the terminal. But actually, this is one place where I think VS Code is really helpful, and it's with their their Git features, and they're kind of highlighting.
How do you set it up so it shows the terminal below?
Oh, I also, that's another thing I generally try to avoid using this terminal. I do it just because I don't have to shift between screens. But for this example, if we're just doing some Git stuff, that's fine. So I do control backtick, which is just below the escape. That will toggle that. Dude, my VS Code is freezing up. So.
Yeah, if you don't want the keyboard shortcut, Cat, you just go in code, just go up to the toolbar, click terminal, and then new terminal.
Yeah, right there, new terminal.
Thank you.
Cool. So yeah, let's say this was about like, 20 minutes worth of work. I got some stuff down. I come in here and I test this. So Ruby main.rb. That's 2. Cool. So now this is like working, and I've done some work. I haven't like finished all of my features, or maybe I haven't even finished all of this, but like I've got it to a point where it's like working well. So this would be a good time to do a commit. And as I was saying, with VS Code, I think there's some really useful tools here that really do outperform the terminal. Like I'm really stressing, like, use your terminal. I'm not trying to short sell the terminal. Like, this git status is important, kind of, but really I have the same information right here, because what right here is telling me on VS Code is that I've modified this file. And one of the nice things about this is I can go in, I can click on this file. So I don't know if you have this feature yet. I can click on this and I can kind of see what I've added. So here I can come in here and like, I mean, this is like my first change, so it's kind of like silly to look at this. But I can see like all of this green highlighted stuff. This is stuff I've added. So now I can go ahead and add this. So to do that, I can do a git add. I can do the file name main.rb, or if I want to add everything, there's actually a shortcut. I can do a git add dot. So I can do that here. And so now, if you notice here, this has moved from this changes to a stage changes. And if I do a git status, it is not, oh, yeah, okay, git status. Now it says I've modified main.rb. Okay, so now I can come in, do a commit.
How come I can't see that online? I have the terminal open, but I am not seeing what you're saying.
What do you mean you're not seeing what I'm seeing?
Mine just says default interactive shell is now ZSH.
Yeah, so I have I have custom styling on my terminal. What you do want to make sure is, so if you do something like print working directory, my VS Code is like freezing up. If you do something like this, print working directory, you should just be in your git practice, and then like ls-la, you should have that .git ignore file. Is that what you mean by yours doesn't look like mine? It's just, it doesn't have like this git :master.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I'm not even seeing all of the, but I guess I have to pull it up in this terminal as well. It doesn't just pull it up as I'm working on it.
Yeah, I would suggest, yeah, coming to, just maybe if you're struggling with this terminal,
Just use the other one.
yeah,
Okay.
just use the other one.
Okay.
It's good. It's good practicing. Like once we get into Rails and stuff like that, you're definitely going to be wanting to use iTerm and not. I just do it here so I don't have to go between screens. Actually, but my VS Code is like, I mean, it's freaking out, so I'm actually going to stop using it.
So the git add dot just adds everything in whatever current directory you're in.
it's the repo. Everything in your, it's going to add everything in your repo. And we might, I'll kind of give you some, we kind of need other files to kind of see the purpose of adding. So we just have one file right now. So for now, we're just going to add that file and then commit it. It kind of seems like an unnecessary step, but there's a reason for it, which we'll get to in 1 second. Cool. So now I have stages that are ready to be committed. So then I can do my git commit -m and then some message. So like I said, I want to be descriptive of the work I did since the last commit. So this one was like built add function. And like maybe I come in and I do like some more work on this, like testing or something. But yeah, let's just say like this took some time, like this was some more serious testing. I come in, I do some testing. You know, I run my file just to make sure it's working. Did I call this main? Cool. So now I've like done some more testing, so I can do another git add dot git commit. You don't always have to run git status. It's just going to like show you where the status is, like the status of your app is. You'll just over time will know like, oh, I want to commit this, and you add it and commit it. So added, you know, so here I like tested add function. So then that's done. So yeah, let's look at a little more in detail, like the add function. So
Can you go back to your terminal real quick? I just have a quick question. So see it like it says 1 file change, 3 insertions, 1 deletion. What did it delete your old git commit m quote, I guess?
I must have, so this is like lines of code. So I must have, when I went in there, I must have deleted a line.
Okay.
It's probably just a blank line, but
Okay, yeah, I just wasn't sure if it deleted your comments out of it, every one you made or not.
cool. So something we could do is we could actually figure that out. I mean, this is like part of the whole point. It's like we could go back and look and see what I changed. So yeah, I'm also not like, I like to hold off on telling people about extensions. I don't know, have you added any extensions to VS Code? No. We're going to like, this is a kind of like cheat on this, because I think extensions are nice. I'm a huge fan of extensions, but I think as you're beginning, you kind of just want to do these things on your own. But once again, this is one that is just like, this is one you would want to use in the real world. So I'm going to show you this one just so we can start using it right away. So I'm going to go in VS Code. I go to this little boxy looking thingy. And then you're going to search for git lens. And yeah, see this one, super popular, 10 million down. That's crazy, 10 million downloads. Okay.
Okay, where is this boxy looking thing? Are you just on the main?
See, do you see where my mouse is moving? It's on the left where it's like those like Tetris looking thingy down here.
Oh, you're on, wait, no, yeah, you're on VS Code, right?
Yeah, you can see VS Code, right, on my screen?
Yeah, yeah, I see it now.
Right
But
here. Woo. Oh, there's my big mouse. There we go.
where's your mouse? I can't see it.
Can you not see my mouse moving? You can't see that?
Oh, that tiny hand. I see it now. I do. I see it now. Hold on.
Yeah,
Let
so
me-
right there. So click on
Okay.
that. And then up here, search for Git lens.
Okay, thank you.
So yeah, this extension like has, like at my last job, like it really saved me. Because if I was trying to do this with like terminal, would have been very, when you're looking through like hit like a file that has like a, you know, hundreds of commits and is like a year old, it can be a little pain. So this is going to help us with that. So if you install that, you should now have this little source control thingy. And you can just watch this. I kind of just want to like, this isn't, I don't want this to be about Git lens. I just kind of, I want this to be more about Git and like why Git is important. Because yeah, who was that? Like someone wants to know like, well, what did we change in that last commit? Well, I can go and look at like my file history. I'm just like, let's see. Sorry, my VS Code's just like, I don't know what's going on. I think my computer's like overheating right now for some reason.
Once you install Git lens, there's nothing additional you need to do within VS Code to enable it or make it work.
No, it should, if it does need to, it'll like have like a restart button, like a reload VS Code. Some of those extensions make you do that. But yeah, I don't think that one does. Okay. So now I'm on my main.rb, and you don't have to do this, you can just watch. So I'm on my main.rb, and this file has been a part of 3 commits. It's been a part of the init. So I can click on that. So this is what this file looked like when I did the init commit, which is just nothing. I can do the last commit. And there it is. That's what it looked like when I did that first commit of building the add function. And then I did this one, the tested add function. And that's what it looks like there. I'm still confused where it's saying I deleted the line, but. So that's why this is really useful. And then like I could go through and I can compare like, well, what's the difference between this commit and that commit? Which is really helpful when you're working on like a huge project. Cool. So there's that. Let's go ahead and do another kind of on with this. I'm going to create a file. Actually, it's 7. Should we take a little break? Let's do a little break. I think that's a good time for a break. Do I have any questions or anything?
I think oh, sorry.
No, you can go ahead. Go ahead.
My git ignore, not the one that we made in our git practice folder, but the other one that has the hashtag mac.ds store. I saved that in my, like in a directory in week 2, basically. Where is that supposed to be saved?
That should be saved in the root, like so when I gave you that command, like touch ~/.gitignore,
Yeah.
it's actually going to save, it's the directory above your desktop. So
Okay.
if you run that command, touch ~/.zsh, or sorry, git ignore, it's going to create it in the right place.
Okay.
And then if you do the
Can-
open ~/.gitignore and throw in that, VS Code, DS Mac stuff, then it should be that. But then, yeah, we have this separate gitignore file that's in this git practice folder.
Okay.
So we should have a gitignore in our git practice folder as well.
Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you. That makes sense.
This may more so be a question during the break, but would you mind walking me through, maybe during the break, just briefly walk me through how we created the files in gitignore? Gitignore, I was more so watching, but I'd like to be able to practice it with you all.
So I need to restart my computer because I don't know what's going on with this. It's where it just started acting up like 30 minutes ago. So I'm gonna restart, and then I'm gonna have to hop off, but then I'll come back on, and then I'll be happy to walk you through.
Okay, thanks.
Danny, can I make you host really quick so I don't throw everyone out of here?